What's going on, y'all? Today, we're going to be going over Cisco's best practices for Errdisable recovery. If you're a network engineer, you can just know how frustrating it is to have a port go down on your network due to an Errdisable state. So today, we'll be going over some of the tips and tricks to help you figure this out and get your network back up and running in no time. So before we go over Errdisable recovery, let's start with a quick overview of what an Errdisable is. Errdisable is a feature that automatically disables a port on your network device when it detects an error condition. This is done to prevent network loops or other potential issues that can arise from a misconfigured port. So now you're asking yourself, what happens when my port goes into an Errdisable state? Well, this is where Errdisable recovery comes in place. Errdisable recovery will automatically re-enable a port on your device to get you up and running. Let's go over some of the Cisco best practices on how to do this efficiently and easy. Firstly, let's get Errdisable recovery enabled as fast as we can. This is not the best way of doing it, but this is the fastest way to get it configured on your device. First, we're going to go into config T, then we're going to go into Errdisable recovery cause all. So right now, Errdisable recovery is turned on for all effects. Should show Errdisable recovery. So if you look, everything is turned on. We don't want this long term, but this is the fastest way to get it turned on your device. I'm going to do a no Errdisable recovery cause all, and then we'll go over a better way of doing this. So now that Errdisable recovery cause all is disabled, let's go through and we're going to enable it for things that we specifically need. So let's just pick UDLD and go with that. So we'll go back into config T, we'll do Errdisable recovery cause UDLD. So now, do show Errdisable recovery. Now we can see that everything is disabled except for UDLD, which we specifically turned on. This is a better way of doing this. Do not leave all for your causes and just think you're done with Errdisable recovery. Make sure you go in, you pick specifically what it is that you're looking for. Next, we're going to give Errdisable recovery a pause, which is just going to give it a timer, right? So the interval timer that we want to set for it, it's recommended for about 5 minutes, which is going to be 300 seconds. When you do the configuration, you have to do it in seconds. So here we go. We're going to go Errdisable recovery interval 300 seconds. So this will go through, and as you can see, I'll do the question mark, and it shows you that the timer is done specifically in seconds. This allows your device to have time to figure out what's going on with the port and see if they can resolve it before Errdisable recovery takes over. So it's important to make sure that you check up and figure out why your devices are getting Errdisabled. So you can do this by show interface. Let's just say Ethernet 0/0. And right here, where it says connected in parentheses, it'll say Errdisabled. If you're trying to see why, you can do a show log and go into your log and see what's going on with your device. It'll tell you specifically, hey, this port was Errdisabled due to too many MAC addresses. If you have port security with MAC address sticky and you have a maximum set for 2, if it ends up pulling a third MAC address, the port will Errdisable out. You'll have to clear the MAC addresses, shut the port, or allow Errdisable recovery to work. So another way of checking to see if your devices are Errdisabled, you can do a show interface status Errdisable. Right now I have no devices that are Errdisabled or no ports that are Errdisabled, but this is another way of checking it. So in conclusion, guys, Errdisable recovery is very important to keep your network up and running as fast as possible. Customers are going to shut down ports. It's going to happen. But just remember the best practices. Make sure you enable Errdisable recovery using Errdisable recovery cause and then the feature that you want to do. Make sure you set up a timer, Errdisable recovery interval, and then a timer. Remember, this has to be done in seconds. You can do things such as SNMP. You can do things, make sure you have STP on, which will help avoid issues. This way you have no loops that will cause Errdisable recovery. And make sure that you're constantly checking your logs. Every network engineer, every architect, every help desk should be looking into the logs of the devices. Make sure you know what's causing issues and make sure that you resolve these issues before you decide to turn the ports back on. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for coming to Far Out Tech, and I hope you guys come back. If you enjoyed this, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.